proud to be Richard's daughter, but also I'm really proud to know how many children he had, you know, and how many people will carry on his work. You know, I can't really do that. I'm good at music, so I'm gonna do that. But the rest of you are doing amazing things, and it makes me really happy to be here.
How did you meet Richard?
I met Richard when I was around 11 or 12 years old at For Love of Children, Flock. I knew a woman by the name of Amina Muhammad. Flock was in our neighborhood, and they were serving our community. And my neighborhood was right across the street, diagonally from Flock, right when they were on 14th Street. And I knew Amina Muhammad, and we always used to come there. Me and her son, just to come in the office. She's like, yeah, I know somebody that you should meet. Are you interested in computers? I'm like, why not? Sure. And she introduced me to Richard.
Well, I first met Richard it was July of 2005. I met him at Christ Congregational Church. I met him at the very first Gandhi Brigade Youth Media workshop, which took place at his home church.
I met Richard. I used to run an after-school program for girls in ESOL, girls from Latin America, and we had received a grant through my program to work with the Gandhi Brigade and produce some PSAs, and so that was how I was introduced to Richard.
I met Richard back in 2010. I started volunteering, actually. I had a roommate at the time. I had a few roommates, and one of my roommates volunteered at Gandhi Brigade. Like, this was like when it was just trying to figure itself out. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And so he asked me if I wanted to do something on Saturdays. I said sure. So back when I first started volunteering, we had something called Freedom School on Saturdays, and it was just like a way to kind of just talk about different issues. So whatever the issues were, like, we talked a lot about immigration rights, we talked a lot about women's safety, stuff like that, I guess. And so every Saturday I would come and volunteer. And that's how I met Richard. I did it for about a year before I was offered a position. So.
What was your first impression of Richard when you met him?
I mean, he wore his Hawaiian shirt all the time. He was very friendly. But he was, he just reminded me of a hippie. He was just that hippie guy. Very nice, smiled a lot, was very engaging, but definitely a hippie.
Well, my first impression of Richard was he's trusting, very loyal, very loving, very kind, and just very generous with his time.
We read an article that Richard wrote about his heroes, and two of them were Robin Hood and Gandhi. So do you see any actions by Richard that resemble those two idols?
Richard is very much a Robin Hood. I mean, he's always a little mischievous and always looking for resources for young people or for the folks that he thinks deserves them. And so he operated in a lot of different circles where he could find those resources, and that was just always his motive, was find the resources, get them to the folks that need them, and do great things with them. So in that way, he sort of reminds me of the robber of the rich to give to the poor.
I do see resemblance between Richard and his two heroes, Robin Hood and Gandhi. Of course, with Gandhi, they share a lot of the same ideals of peaceful, kind of like peace warriors, is what he always talks about. Being nonviolent in your approach, or being non-aggressive in your approach, but not necessarily being weak in it.
Like Robin Hood, he didn't steal, but he did take what those who were more privileged, he took what they would regularly have, and he gave access to it to those that were way less privileged. I was at ages 11, 12, I was the only kid in my neighborhood with a Macintosh computer, or with a computer, period, honestly, on my block. And that's the access he gave to us. That's what I would say when it comes to Robin Hood. He gave what the less fortunate. He gave to the less fortunate what they wouldn't regularly have.
Do you think he was a hero?
He was absolutely a hero in my life. I think he championed his personal beliefs and his personal values in a way that was so consistent and so effective that the average of us, the average among us, could only aspire to. I mean, he's someone who I never think of as my moral or spiritual equal. He would be someone that I would say, that's somebody I look up to, and that's someone I would like to be like.
Well, personally, to me, he was my hero because I love the way that he would just accept people for who they were and what they bring to the table, regardless of, where they came from, what they look like.
So how will you carry on Richard's legacy?
I hope to. Well, obviously, I am carrying it on because I quit my job and came back here. I feel like this mission is so important for young people. So I wanted to make sure I came so that it wouldn't fall to the wayside, I guess, in a sense. So I think just that alone lets me know that I believed in his vision, and I think it's important. And I do want to teach and continue to affect young people's lives, and I think that's a big part of what he did. Yeah. And so I definitely want to do that for the long term. So.
Well, first of all, I'll continue to support Gandhi Brigade financially with whatever means I can. I'll continue to volunteer at the Youth Media Festival, which takes place every year in May. I'll continue to keep in touch with his family.
Were you ever part of Gandhi Brigade?
Yeah, I have been kind of on and off doing work for them since I think 2007, I believe. Mm-hmm. It all kind of started like a weekend thing at the Long Branch Community Center. It was maybe me and like between 5 and 10 other youth, and then like a few like young adult mentors that were helping us, like showing us media skills and kind of guiding us in a direction to like address topics of social justice and kind of do small media projects. So that's kind of where I started with it.
So how was it working with Richard?
It was good. I mean, it was, it's different because he's my dad. Mm-hmm. So it was always kind of like a different dynamic with me and him versus like some of the other youth. Doing stuff with your dad when you're kind of younger, like parents can be kind of embarrassing sometimes. So it's always like a little bit, it was always like, oh, Dad, do I have to? But, it was good. He's always been like a cool guy. So it was never like weird working with him.
So do you think Richard was a hero?
He was definitely my hero. Yeah, he was. I mean, yeah, not just my hero. I'm sure he was a lot of people. I know he was a lot of people's heroes in this community for sure. He did a lot of great things for a lot of people. So I think that qualifies him as a hero. Love you, Dad. Keeping the dream alive down here, wherever you are. Hope you're looking over us. We're doing it.